Hi guys, my name is Kathy and I've been on Prednisone for 2 years and 2 months. First of all, if you're here, I imagine you're probably going through something really difficult in your life, maybe an illness or something like that. I just want to say I feel your suffering and your pain because this drug is not easy. Give yourself a pat on the back for coming this far. And just know that it'll all pass. Like all the things I'm going to talk about today, I have gone through it and come out of it, and I'm still going through some things and I will come out of it. Just going back today and looking at photos of before and during and now, and just how much things change basically, even in a relatively short amount of time. So if you're in a spot where you feel like I can't do this anymore, just know it will pass. So why am I on steroids? Because a lot of times steroids are a short-term solution. They're supposed to be used for acute illnesses to suppress inflammation, right? Where I live right now, which is in Japan, for my autoimmune disease, which is a somewhat rare disease called MOG or MOGAD, they don't have many treatment options, many preventative medicines. Whereas in the US, you might have a lot more options available. Here, the system, it's just the medical system is slow to approve things, and they're still doing clinical trials and all sorts of stuff. So unfortunately, I have built my life here. I have my family here. I will not be going back to the US unless, some really big issue occurs. So that means that I have had to stay on steroids for 2 years now, over 2 years. And I know it's not just Japan, several other countries also use steroids kind of long term. Obviously, it's not ideal because steroids come with so many side effects. And I have definitely struggled through my share. Some of them are very different from what I've heard people online struggle with. For example, I hear a lot of people struggle with insomnia. I've been very lucky to be able to sleep pretty well while being on this medicine. So the first and worst side effect that I've had while taking prednisolone over the past 2 years is acne. It was so bad. It was so bad. Acne is listed as a side effect. So the doctors think how high dosage means lots of, you get the acne when you have a high dosage, and the lower you go, the better it gets. But in my case, it was kind of inverted. The faster I tapered off, the worse my acne would get. And I still haven't gotten great answers about why this happens. And unfortunately here, I haven't been able to see an endocrinologist. Your body is trying to rebalance itself as you are tapering down. And for some reason that triggers horrible acne for me. From the start, basically, I had little dot acne, little bumps on my face, chest, and back. And that was pretty easy to deal with when I was on high dosage with benzoyl peroxide, and it sucked. And honestly, there was a point where I thought, I'm never going to be able to wear necklaces again because my skin right around here was so messed up and irritated and sensitive that I remember having that thought. But here I am, my skin is really nice on, I have no problems on my back and chest. Then later on, after one of my attacks, I was tapering off and I was gonna get married. So I was like, moon face is killing me right now. I want to get off. Moon face means when there's facial swelling, which is caused by prednisone. I wanted to decrease as fast as possible to get a slimmer face for all the photos and everything. So as I was tapering down, I started to get pimples, and big pimples that wouldn't go away for weeks on end. I will insert a photo. Here you go. I'm sorry. It's not pretty. And actually, maybe I'll insert a series of photos or something. You can see it just got worse and worse as time went on. And so it was this bad for about a month. Let me tell you what solved it. I had another relapse, which meant I went to the hospital, got IV steroids injected into my veins, like a ton, like 500 milligrams or 1,000 per day for a couple days in a row. And let me tell you, within a day and a half, every single pimple that you see in this photo here went completely flat. And I assume that's the medicine suppressing the inflammation. It was insane. Like, because I had struggled for so long with that acne and it was so painful, and that was honestly my lowest point. And then to just have it disappear just like that, it was wild. So in a way I was thankful, but I had to start the process all over again, start at the top and then we have to taper back down. But this time I knew that for me, tapering down even 1 milligram every like 2 weeks or something caused like crazy acne. Right, honestly, I can go on and on and on and talk about the acne, but I will make that a completely different video because there's so much to talk about. One last thing before we move on to the next issue, because this is a skin issue, so I'm going to include it in here. I now have a different skin problem on my face. It's called periorbital dermatitis or periocular dermatitis. Right now I'm wearing like foundation, so you probably can't see it, but I have like red marks here, and around my eyes and eyelids, and that's another fun side effect from the steroids, and I can't get off the steroids, so I'm just using topical medication for that. Moon face. If you can't tell, my face is swollen. It's filled with liquid or something. Moon face happens when you're on a, I guess, medium to higher dose. I think anything above 5 milligrams, you might notice your face getting fatter, and yeah, it sucks. Oh, I have before and after pictures as well. Here's before. I started taking prednisone, or which side I don't know what's going to be on, but before, and then after. That was a point where I looked at the photo and I was like, oh crap, like it's really bad. Like, that has also been very difficult to deal with, and there's not much that you can do to fix it. Like I said, like I was gonna get married, and I tried to taper down. First of all, moon face, as I've read, can last up to a year after you get off the steroids. So it was kind of silly that me thinking if I taper down it'll get slimmer. It didn't really. I still had a pretty puffy face for my wedding event. Yeah, I tried like doing facials at actual salon, spent a lot of money. It did nothing. It did nothing. I took a before and after, and yeah, there was literally no difference. So I really don't think there's much you can do. People say if you reduce salt, it should help because salt makes you retain water. So in theory that should work, but I haven't been able to do it because reducing salt is very, very difficult. And the times that I have tried, I have not seen a difference. Another fun related thing, just in the past maybe year or so, I started developing these horrible eye bags, which I really didn't have before. And I have to assume it's the side effect related to water retention. And, I hope that once I get off the prednisone, I'll have my old face back. But, who knows? It's possible that I might have to, like, get rid of it a different way if it's not going back to normal. This is a big one. A lot of people I've read in groups, Facebook groups and things like that people gain a ton of weight on this medicine, and like that truly sucks. And I noticed for myself, I did gain a couple kilos. It wasn't that bad though. It wasn't that bad at all. And I will say, first of all, one, I am extremely lucky that it did not affect me that way. I think the higher your dosage, the more likely you're gonna be to have those cravings and things like that. And two, something that I did that I would recommend to anyone who's feeling down about themselves gaining weight, I would recommend getting a personal trainer. So I found a deal on like basically the Japanese Groupon or Klook or whatever. that was a really good deal. And I started working with a personal trainer twice a week. Usually they have people like work out and they have a before and after a couple months you can be like, oh look, you changed a lot. But for me it was maintenance. Like I didn't really change in any noticeable way, but that was perhaps the benefit. Maybe if I hadn't done strength training, I was lifting weights, I would have gained more weight, or my bones would have gotten weaker, you know. So I would say it was totally worth it, even if it was just for my confidence and just to feel better about myself and just to chat with someone twice a week and have like a fun time working out. 100% worth it. Okay, number 4, hair loss. As you can tell, my hair is not that thick. I have always had pretty fine hair since high school. It's, you know, started getting finer and finer. I have read that prednisone does make your hair thinner and it can cause hair shedding. So I did go through a phase where my hair was falling out like significant amounts in the shower. I would feel a tickling around my feet, and because my hair was falling out. That was also a really low point for me because, you know, if you've experienced it, you know, it sucks. And it got to a point where I was like, I'm going to cut all my hair off. So I did. I cut all my hair off, not all of it off. I just cut it short, because the shorter it is, the less visible it is. You know, the longer your hair is, if a little bit falls out, it looks like a lot. So I was like, cut it short so it looks like less. It makes me feel better inside. Even if, you know, my hair continues to fall out, I won't feel so depressed about it. And it worked. I did feel better. And let me tell you, like, cutting your hair short is something else. If you haven't tried it, you should try it. I felt quite free, and it was so easy in this summer, like showering multiple times a day. I didn't care, you know, you don't have to worry about like, oh, I shouldn't wash my hair. I just didn't care. And it was very, very freeing. As you can see, I kind of grew my hair out again this year. It's still quite thin and fine. The shedding stopped at some point. It was really only like maybe a couple months that it was really, really bad, enough to warrant chopping it off. If you are struggling with that, hair grows back. So it's temporary, just like most things. This may be more related to me taking antibodies for like 6 freaking months, or the proton pump inhibitor. Like which is, I guess it's supposed to help my stomach, but I was on a bunch of other side medications that I had to take because I was on prednisone. And I think those might have been the cause more so than the prednisone itself. But I did have pretty bad, like uncomfortable indigestion, like very gassy, very uncomfortable for a large part of my 2 years, I would say. The last one is a little bit scary, and I'm pretty sure I can attribute it to the prednisolone, because basically I had a semi like flare-up kind of situation with my disease, and I had to double my dosage and of prednisolone, whatever. And when I did that, I started having like trouble breathing. Like it was hard to breathe. It felt like I couldn't breathe fully. And I would also get chest pain. And that happened for like 2 weeks. And then I kind of tapered off and it went away. And I hadn't had that before, even when I was at like, you know, 20 milligrams or something in the past. But you know, this is the drug that keeps on giving. Even if you've been on it for a long time, new symptoms will come up as you continue to be on it. If you have to be on it for a long time, then take it from me that there will be ups and downs, and you'll see how it affects your own body. Everybody's different, you know. Try and get on as low a dosage as you can. Try and find the sweet spot where it controls your symptoms, but not any higher. Know that there are other people who are experiencing what you and I are experiencing. Like, you are not alone, and health is so complicated. So try and keep yourself as healthy as possible, you know, while taking this drug. And best of luck. I will probably be posting more videos on specific things, but if you have any questions, be happy to answer. I'll keep you guys updated on how it goes.